Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 2 with Jarod Octon. Hey, Jarod, how's it going?
Hey, going well. How are you?
Good, doing
Awesome.
good. Made
Doing
it on
good.
here. Got past
That's
some
right.
technical difficulties, so we're here and we're live. It's 9:30 in the morning Pacific time. Also, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are coming from. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're super excited to do this day 2. Make sure you check out the second week of the new Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with Paul Chaney. It's every weekday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's super fun. He's a great instructor. He teaches you a lot, great creator. So check that out. Just want to say what's up to the chat. We got Wade moderating for us today. Hi, Ferry. Hey, Andreas. Richard Thomas. Thank you for joining us today. It's so exciting to have everybody here. Also, if you're on YouTube, why don't you come on over to behance.net/Adobe Live so you guys can ask Jarod all of those tough questions. We're going to try to break them today. I don't think we did a good enough job yesterday. He was way too many smiles at the end. Yeah.
I'm forever cheesing, but you can try it.
Yeah, we'll try it today. But yeah, so awesome. Day 2, Jarod. Oh yeah, we also have the artist spotlight today with one of Jarod's friends, with Myles Mendoza, correct?
Yes, Myles Mendoza.
Awesome. Well, cool. So Jarod, real quick intro again for people that are just joining us today, and just take us through what you're going to do for day 2.
Yeah, so thank you for that awesome introduction. My name is Jarod Octon. I'm a San Diego-based illustrator who works full-time as a senior brand designer for a company called Orbit. They're located in San Francisco, Paris. We're all over the world. And basically, our tagline is mission control for your community, and then in the off hours and the late hours, burning the midnight, the wick and everything, I work freelance on a variety of clients, big and small. And then, let me pull up my website real quick. Here's some of the stuff that you might have seen on the internet. Maybe you can connect my face to now. I love sci-fi, fantasy vibes, lots of vibrancy. I don't care if it's pink or purple. I love it. So here's some of the vibes. You got the space. This is a favorite of mine. Both Chris and I are big Disney fans, as we learned yesterday.
Yes.
This is a mashup I did for the Haunted Mansion when Nightmare Before Christmas takes over, Madame Sally. And then you got the classic castle, and then this one is probably a big inspiration for today's live stream. Last year, came the arrival of my son Orion, my first son, and these were some baby astronaut announcements that I did, and I wanted to carry on with that vibe with his birthday just around the corner on December 11th. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Just to give you a quick overview of like some of the other works I've done. This is also for my son, Orion. This illustration here is probably one of my newer pieces, the Stargate. This is actually done for my employer, Orbit. So you can check them out at orbit.love. Really cool app, very useful. I think most of the stuff I get to do is in this vein. It is because it's very space themed, the branding and everything. Mm-hmm. There's a little Saturn and replaced like right here. This is the O in the orbit. Nice. So
okay, that's part of your guys' logo.
Yeah. Cool. Cosmic stuff is very evident and it's perfect. It's a perfect fit for my style. And I think that's where the symbiotic relationship began. When I first started, it was just freelance, and I was like, you know what, let's join forces full time. And ever since then, I've just been pumping out amazing space vibes. So it's been a breath of fresh air. Before that, I worked for a candy company. So a lot of that. Yeah. I did a lot of like packaging.
I could see that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think some of that influence of the candy business. Shout out Rosa, Margot, Bianca. They're there right now. Some of that influence of like kid-friendly content, trickled into here, like the Space Cadet and this day and night stamp. So I definitely am grateful for my time there. And so in addition, I do stuff like products as well. I mean, pins, patches. Well, not patches yet. That's next. Stickers, notebooks, all kinds of goodies for sure. One cool one though is this font, and I actually did this for in anticipation of my son's arrival as well, Orion.
Right.
But this was kind of like a like a secret Easter egg among my illustrations, and I have to give a lot of credit. I don't know if this is the time to get into the spotlight or not, or should we?
Oh no, we're going to be doing spotlight. You can mention them right now, but we're going to be doing the spotlight like an hour and a half in. So don't.
Hour and a half in. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But if you want to just give him a shout out real quick, that's all good.
Myles, I was ready to rock and roll with you. But I'm gonna
all right. Well, so yeah, we'll wait for him. Okay. Well, let's wait for him down the line. We'll get to you, buddy. So yeah. Well, stick around, please. You got to stick around. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to earn it. That's right.
There you go.
Well, long story short, he helped inspire, like motivate me to make a font. He has some fonts of his own. We'll get into that later. So, big ups to him for actually lighting that fire into my booty and, to do this. So, with that said, I think, going back to this first illustration, the baby announcement, I want to show you what we're doing for this year, right? We should probably dig into it. Let's do it. All right. So, more Disney vibes on my desktop.
Is that Flight of the Navigator right there?
Flight of the Navigator. Yeah, that was a childhood favorite.
Movie. Yep.
So good. Yep. So yeah, I thought you might appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
So day one recap. We were mostly in Illustrator, actually only in Illustrator, right? Digging in, making vector shapes, creating layers for the intent of exporting to Photoshop. And just to give you guys a quick little recap on what that ended up looking like, it's right here. Take the concept sketch away. This is more or less what we ended up with. There's some layers that won't be visible when I bring it into Photoshop, but what basically I want you to see in this layers panel here is I made sure to turn on all the layers that I wanted to use in Photoshop, because if I have them unclicked, certain things won't be exported to Photoshop. It basically deletes any unnecessary layers to minimize file size and stuff. So you don't forget to turn these on before exporting, and to do that, you go over here, export as, and then come in here and name your file whatever you prefer. Go down to the drop down, and that's Photoshop, and then we'll just name this one. So I actually organize things a little better after our first meet, and we'll do two, so I don't mess this up. And I'm gonna do it back here even. Okay, and then in here, if you do need it to be CMYK for whatever reason, definitely make sure you do that before going to this window, because you won't be able to write the layers. So for example, I go to CMYK, it'll just be a flat image. So I'm already working in RGB because I want the full gamut of colors. So go in here, boom, 300 DPI is great. And then that's it, right? So I'm actually I don't need to wait for that. We'll just stop it. So this is the last we'll see of the Illustrator file for the time being. Don't need this because I already saved it. Close that out. So here we are, and I've taken the liberty of organizing the layers ahead of time, so we didn't have to worry about all that. I did add a couple little details since our last live stream. Nothing too crazy. A little like smiley face sticker, just for fun. It's for fun. And then cleaned up some other details. I wasn't really vibing with the helmet. I think because I was so obsessive yesterday. And if you watch the live stream, you'll know that I was a little obsessed yesterday. Probably spent like a good hour just on that little area, and that was probably good. Thanks, man. Yeah, I think I was like having like a mental blank there. Like I was forgetting like how the techniques work. I was like, how do I do this? And the pressure got to me, almost crushed me, but I looked beautiful on the outside and just dying on the inside.
We are now in, this is the file, and we are now in Photoshop, correct?
We are in Photoshop, ready to texture.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to add that dimension. It's lacking at the moment. It's very flat, which is, on its own, it can hold up, honestly. There's enough shading there to like live on its own, but we want to give it some extra wow factor, right? And definitely. I want you to like take something away from it all. So as a Oh, go ahead, Chris. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was gonna say it's we've got some people from all over the world watching today.
Yeah,
Got someone
nice.
coming in from London. I guess it's raining there. It's
Oh,
raining in LA,
nice.
surprisingly. Don't know how that happens. And then Germany's in here. And who else we
Yeah,
got?
awesome.
Yeah, so gosh, I saw somebody else. Costa Rica. So JC Sanchez from Costa Rica. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
kind of
pulling up the
awesome
chat right
that,
now.
yeah, it's exciting to be able to connect with people from all over the world and just the beauty of art, and that we can all come together and learn together.
Heck
So
yeah, I love it.
thanks for joining us today, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks Wade for moderating and everything. I'm amped. Hi Patricia. Yeah, hello from Germany. She's a good friend. Awesome work. Check her stuff out. And yeah, I'm just scrolling down. Just want to make sure I don't miss any more of my peeps. I'm sure the more to come later. All right, cool. So
all right, cool. Let's do it.
Let's dig in. Yeah. So I already organized the layers. So I always recommend naming your layers. It'll help you when you're 100 layers deep and you can't find that one thing you need a selection from. We got everything dropped down to the blast. So we got all that, rocket, helmet. So, if I got to do things like rotate that helmet, it's not looking like right to me, and we can do that. But
right.
I think we'll start with the sun. And so it's going to be in my outer space vibes here. And then I'm going to make a new layer for just textures. I don't plan on doing all the textures on one layer, but probably like I'll try and like condense some of them, like the shadows on one and the highlights on the next, even if they're separate colors. So we'll start with like some of because this is already really bright, that yellow. So like we'll probably do some shadows.
Okay.
Textured shadows. Okay. And then this is the beautiful thing now of having all these layers separated. I can, hit command and, like select the sun right here. And I'll probably, in case I ever want to maybe take this out of it, like take it out of that triangular badge, I'll probably work with the full illustration. And then afterwards, so I have this pyramid down here. So command is your friend right here. It allows you to pull this up, this little selection finger here. So now that I have the pyramid one selected, I can come into the sun and just hit this button here, which creates a layer mask.
Right.
And so even if I am like, texturing outside that box, it'll stay contained. I'm going to close it off so I can kind of see what I'm doing, so you guys have a better idea. So now the sun,
then you can turn it back on to
totally. So this will be my friend. I can show you back and forth. Okay, so I will leave this cut sun out actually now, because that was just for yesterday to show you what it might look like. Today we don't need that, so we'll use that full sun. Make sure, yep, we're good. Textured shadows again, and don't forget to look at which layer you're texturing, because I've definitely textured the original layer and then like was unable to use that selection, I'm like, oh no. So and go, you can always export it from Adobe again, like if you just need one layer, just keep your composition the same and export that one layer by itself, and you'll be able to like cut and paste it right back in. Right.
And that reminds us that we should also be saving as well. That's very important.
And
once we
save.
Get cooking. Yeah, and save.
Yeah, I definitely was. I had some bad practices, let's just say, yesterday. And thank you to the audience for, I forget who it was that reminded me to save. And that was much needed. We were like an hour in and I still had like untitled up in the file name.
Yeah, you could get a power outage like I did this morning and just lose everything.
Yeah, that's what happens, Yesterday I had all the technical difficulties. Today you had some, but that's the name of the game, right? It's not a real party until you break something, or
it's not a real party until someone cries. That's
right. I refuse to cry. I'll just have inner tears.
Yeah, inner tears.
Okay, so so this is the fun stuff comes in. I get to play with these textures. Shout out to Retro Supply. That's actually the ones I will be using today.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's a range of different textures you can do for different styles. Like some people like that like halftone look. I like this. Let me go back, make sure Where's the layer? Yeah, okay, we're good. Can't see. There it is. Okay. Make sure. Okay, cool. It's too small. So, just make sure you increase that brush size. And then I'm gonna ink drop one of these darker ones just to start with like the right side, and just add some of that lovely, texture. Oh, I love it. It's like sprinkling pepper on your dinner. It's just much needed. And I love this like textury kind of like dusty look, even if it's like metal and, different surfaces. Like, of course, we could do like more of like a airbrush kind of texture on like a metal surface, but there's just something nice about having this dirty texture. I love it. And I think it helps when you're printing. Like, I think it kind of like eliminates some of those, like, if you ever see gradients, they have those bars, like they just can't transition from one color to the next.
Right. This kind of helps transition. Yeah. It gets a little bit smoother, looks a little bit better in print.
A little bit. So I'm liking that. I feel like that's very sun looking. And now
it gives like, like we were saying before, it gives it the old school look, the retro vibes.
Yeah. And that's what it is, right? Like I'm like yesterday we were talking, and I really like to keep one foot in that analog or like retro, like the past, and then try and like learn new tricks, take on some of these resources and tools that people are suggesting in the chat that I obviously never used. Like yesterday, everyone was recommending some awesome things, and I'm definitely going to dig into afterwards. So let's see here.
You didn't do it during your anniversary?
Oh, no. For some reason, this thing, I don't know if you ever have this issue where like the thing just does not want to stop, like right clicking. Yeah, like, okay, now it went away. It's something to do with my mouse.
Yeah, it's your computer.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on that for sure.
Yeah, okay, I feel like we all have those weird quirks with our tools and our computer. We're like, and you're like trying to like, you're searching the internet, like, is this happening to anybody else?
I mean, it's definitely an issue with Apple's Magic Mouse. Like, there's something with like the right click, left click.
I definitely don't use that. I instantly switched to like Logitech. I was just like, I can't. The Mac mice are all terrible. I can't stand them.
I got you. Yeah, I'm working on an iMac right now. So
that's what I'm on too.
Are you okay? Cool.
Yeah.
I want to get one of those old school like keyboards that like have the glowing keys from below, like like they have RGB ones and stuff. Like super synth wave and stuff. Like I want that.
I'm pretty sure you can like custom. I mean, I know people like custom build their keyboards now and all the kinds of crazy. I do like the click clack. Old school keyboards, but I prefer the lower profile. I can't do the like super tall.
Okay.
It's just
much. I mean, I like the look of them, but to actually use them, I might not. Like, one thing's for sure, like with my son always napping in the background, like I'm trying to be as stealthy as possible. Like I'm always like trying to pretend to be like yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I had a mouse before this one. It was even worse. And it just was like every time I clicked, it was just like pure agony. But they have some cool mice out there that like are very silent. Like they have like the, gel kind of press, and they don't make any sound. And like for any parents that need that's ninja status right there. It's very here. I feel like I'm okay. So with I'm back into the highlights now, and I'm only going to sprinkle a little bit. This is the salt. We're going to just add a little bit because we don't want it to be too salty here. And I like my food analogies
just a little bit. Just turn that form a little bit.
You know what? Looks like, was I actually working in? See, that was an instance right there. So I messed up.
Boom.
So I'm going to delete that. And here, Command D to deselect. Make sure that that's all exposed. And I'm going to actually one more time. And then take that. And then bring it back. So I was texturing on the layer mask. See, that's an instance where I wasn't selecting the right one. So now I'm back on there. I can see what I'm doing. Okay, we're on there. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, so basically I just wanted to add a little bit in. Oh, here, you know what? Same thing. I don't need the sun. There we go. Okay, cool. Anyway, so I just want to add a little bit highlight with this texture because I'm already kind of have some on the base coat. So you should only need just a sample. And if you feel like you're doing too much, like see, I've kind of dipped in onto that opposite side, you know, that's a little too much. So what I'll do in this instance is Command D, create a layer mask on that one. And then and this is one of my little special techniques, like to like make things kind of dissipate like even more finely, like fine, you know, it is like texturing the texture. Because then with if I hit X to make sure it deletes, it'll start to give that nice like dissipation, like it'll trail off a little bit more gradual, and we can get that nice kind of like hot or dark spot around here, the cast shadow. And honestly, like you know, these are classic, you know, like painting principles, right? Like if you take any painting class, like they're gonna set up the apple and you're gonna do that, you know, that spotlight, the cast shadow, you got all that good stuff.
Core shadow, cast shadow, the bounce light, all bounce the good light, things to turn the form, make that ball, draw that apple, or you know.
Exactly, and then apply that layer mask, and you should have an even better texture now. Yeah, so I mean, I love this type of work because it feels like I'm painting, you know, like I feel like I'm actually like digging into like some of like the more traditional art, you know, techniques, you know, the applications. And even though this is digital, you know, like it's kind of like refreshing where we, you know, the last one, we were in Illustrator yesterday. I feel like everything was very like geometric and like there's a lot of like structure, like it's like an engineering program almost, you know, like
it's like you're building the blueprints almost, and you know, it's like you're slowly building it, but it's not you're not getting the fidelity, you're not getting like the artistic touch. I mean, that's why the textures are so fun.
They really are.
It starts to bring these shapes to life. It takes it from that really flattened form to all of a sudden things start to pop.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess that looks pretty clean. I'll probably do more to it because obviously there's like some contrast lacking here, but that might be okay once I dig into the rocket. And there's really like no shadows on the sun, right? Like it's just like hot and warm, or you know, like it just gets brighter and brighter. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And okay, so you have to leave that there.
I think his name's Kaylee or Kylie. Is
yelling what's
your
up,
name
man?
out, Jared.
What's up,
just
dude?
Got here. Yeah, he's loving this. It's amazing to see your work live. So he's a huge fan. She's a huge fan.
Man.
They're a huge fan. Not
he's
sure.
He's
a huge fan. Yeah. Is it Ka or K?
Guy.
Is it Kylie or Katie?
I was going to ask you. I was going to say, is it Ka or K? You're going to have to tell me, bro. I'm sorry for that.
We got to hear it in the chat.
Lee is his last name. So it's
yes.
Ka or K. And you're going to hate me after this, probably. You're like, dude, stop butchering my name. But we've never talked like formally, so I want to know.
Yeah,
now.
You just see it. Like, you see it online. You see it in writing.
Right. That's like what's so brutal about that. But he's good people's. Awesome Illustrator. Definitely check out his work if you guys have time. All right, so we're gonna close this out here.
Okay, it's Ka. K-A-W sound. The Ka. Okay. All right, Kali. We got it.
Thank you. Yeah. All respect.
Now
no disrespect. You know, this is how it goes sometimes. We should definitely have like some digital chat sometime, like have a digital happy hour. All right, let's get back into this. So, okay, this tail, it's bugging me right now that the thing is like, actually, there's no dissipation there. So I want to like just kind of.
Right, we want to see that kind of like that atmospheric push back. Yeah, something with the perspective. Yeah, kind of let it fall back a little bit.
It should darken or something. So I'm just gonna let me figure out which. Yeah, that's that one. Okay, cool. Inner swoosh, outer swoosh. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna mask that one because we want to go directly on that layer. And shrink that up a little bit, and then hit X for the black so we can actually, and again, select your layer mask. There we go. And just, and maybe this isn't the right way to go. Just so you know, like this is a lot of this. When I get into Photoshop, it's a lot of experimentation, right? So, right. I mean, that looks pretty cool, but the only thing
and would you say that's why it's important to have the masks, as it kind of allows you to experiment without destroying the layers?
Without a doubt. And honestly, that's probably why I like digital art as a whole, because Command Z, like, I always hated like making that one paint stroke on a canvas and like just ruining it, and like I couldn't go back over the layers.
Hours.
Yeah. Like
I took about 10 hours to ruin this painting.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you see those pieces in the museum, they're like 12 inches of paint, just thickness, I'm like, was that deliberate, or were they just making so many mistakes that they keep stacking?
We'll never know. Yeah. It's for texture.
Yeah. So I took away a little too much, in my opinion. So I want to bring it back a little.
Right. You kind of want to see that trail cutting into the triangle a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. I want you to know that it's coming around the sun, and just so you know, for people tuning in right now, this is dedicated to my son's birthday. He's about to mark his first trip around the sun, hence this concept. So
pretty awesome concept, pretty exciting.
I had another
Christmas.
One, right? I feel bad for the guy. He's definitely not going to get as many presents as I do.
It's like, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, like
you're gonna get one big one.
Yeah. Okay, bring these back in. There's some dusty elements. So, and I may actually add a texture to this, because like there's another route I could go. Like instead of doing it that way, I could have done like, one up and then added this purple to the pink rather. And that might look cool too, so let me just.
Kyle was asking, I think you mentioned it yesterday, but he was asking, do you always bring your vectors into Photoshop to texture? Do you ever stay in Illustrator, or is this the process for you?
Sometimes I stay in Illustrator. Yesterday we were talking about it a little bit, and I felt the files, once I get all those textures in there, they're heavy, and I feel like it kind of like eliminates the strength of like having a vector file. Like, okay, for example, like I have to do a lot of SVGs for work, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Ka.
Right.
Like it's just like like having those, I don't know how those would translate, well, like, so I don't know. I feel like I have more flexibility with the textures in Photoshop. Like I can do all these, because like once you have the textures, the ones you use in Illustrator are very limited. I feel like, you can only do so much with like layer mask and stuff like that. So I guess, yes, I typically do it in Photoshop. If I want Illustrator level like sharpness, I just leave it at that, gradients, flat shapes. I'm not feeling this at the moment. I think I'm going to go back to this. I thought that looked nice.
Shout out to Misty Uwatsu. It's birthday day. So
nice.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I always like to say happy born day.
Born day. Yeah.
Because this is when you were born, right? You can actually, that's my little joke. Everyone knows when who's shouting them out on their birthday or born day, because I'm like, that's like patent right there. Okay, so
what's up, Robert? Saying hi. Got Robert from yesterday's coming in, chiming in. And also, if you guys are on YouTube, hop on over to behance.net/Adobe Live, so you too can join us in the chat here and ask Jarod all of your questions about this beautiful rocket ship and textures. It's all about textures today.
That's right. That's so funny. Yeah. No worries to anyone that missed out on day one. I feel like that was pretty brutal. Like I was
you didn't want to be here. Yeah, it's all about day two.
I wasn't ready. Day two, I'm having a lot more fun.
Yeah, don't watch day one. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, this is the juicy stuff anyway.
Yeah, this is the juicy stuff.
Yeah, that sweet fruit. Let's see here. So, okay, I feel good about the texture. I'm just trying to like sit back here, look at what we got. What needs some attention. Okay, like I could definitely get into, let's do more of this blast here. So the inner blast is there. That's that blast. Let's do, yeah.
And just real quick, guys, later on, and I think about the 1.5 hour mark, we are going to go ahead and do the artist spotlight. We'll let you know when we get there. We're not going to spoil the surprise, but at the top of chat, you'll see the artist spotlight tab. Go ahead and fill out that form. You can nominate yourself. You can nominate somebody you know. Yeah. And one day you could show up on the artist spotlight on Adobe Live. We'd love to have you. So please click on the tab. Yeah, artist spotlights are super fun. We get to hype the artists. We get to check out the work and get you guys connected. So check it out.
So I see Lisa just joined the chat. Hi, Lisa. Awesome illustrator. Super awesome. Distinct style. Like you can't, like, you know, that's her work when you see it. You definitely check her stuff out. It's super sick. Out of New York. Okay, let's see. I'm just like indecisive where to go from here. Like I wasn't really feeling what the blast tail was doing. I think I just need to pay attention to something else for the moment. Let's just go to the straight up the rocket.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's hop on the rocket. Let's start doing
some
shine.
Let's get in there. We'll get in the main.
So with the smiley face, I know you had Orion there first spelled out. Was that kind of we're like, maybe I don't want to do that, or
I don't know. It was one of those things like I could bust that smiley out real fast, and I just wanted to throw something in there. And I
mean, it looks great. I was just curious.
Yeah, I thought it had a little like kid-friendly appeal, you know. Orion will know that this is his because I'll tell him all about it when he's older.
Right.
But I may add that later too. You know, I don't know.
It's a little more flexible as a design. You don't have the Orion there now. It can apply to everybody, kind of thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We're in the hole. All right. Okay, got that whole thing selected. Just deciding, I think I'm gonna add to maybe dissipate this a little bit. So like, we shouldn't have like he should be blocking some of that light. So there should be a cast shadow right in this area. So I'm gonna add some darkness there, and I'm just trying to figure out what layers. Okay, so if I add that back in, I want to see where that lands. So that's getting covered up. So I need to bring it up. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
And you're sticking with the same brush, correct? This is the brush you.
I'm going to be consistent with this. Yeah. I mean, there is a temptation to do like a classic airbrush for this area, because then it'll make it look like a lot more metal. And maybe I do that. Like we could experiment with that just for the sake of checking it out, and just do a classic. You know, general brush be fine. Like everybody's got that, so you know, no one can feel like you got to go buy something real quick to do that. Yeah. And this might create like a nice. Yeah, this is looking clean. We'll rock with that. Like, so we'll have like the texture on like more the noisy things, like, you know, the chaotic things, like the blast. We'll have like a bunch of dust in this area, like, you know, so all that good stuff. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I'm using the right layer to, okay. Looks like I didn't make, okay, here we go. And then if I take the highlight edge, where is it here? It's too much. Okay, I'll just have to delete some of this stuff afterwards. I won't have as much control in this little section, but that's okay. All right, so just a little bit in there, nothing too much, because I want to make sure I have some contrast on the left and right. Should be some here too. And then I'll probably darken this one. So let's just say that this is the helmet cast shadow. I always like misspell when I'm typing.
Yeah, okay, I know. I definitely have some like filthy shorthand for some of the things I work on. I'm like, the BGRN, you know, it's like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
If I don't have to send it to a client, I'm like, well, I know what I'm talking about.
Right. I'm literally doing this for all you beautiful people tuning in right now. Beautiful people tuning in right now. So yeah, like if it was me working on this on my own, it would be like all these like initials and like, you know, little abbreviations or whatever.
Right.
Okay, let's see here. And I'm going to copy paste is always good. So command C, command V. Oh, it didn't copy that. Okay. Well, that command C, command V. Okay. So we'll do 1, 2. Just I like, even though I could probably put them on the same layer, I want that control because I might like hate that look later, and I just want to make sure that I have full control. So it's okay to make new layers, for textures, like even if it's kind of similar highlights and stuff. Let's see, middle shadow. Here we go. Bam. Okay, so we're gonna darken this area now. I feel like now we lost some of that contrast. I want to actually increase the contrast so that was there. Probably there. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit. I just want to see what it looks like, really.
Yeah, I mean, this is for me with painting in Photoshop as well. It's like there's some layers that are completely committed, and then there's stuff where I'm like, I know I've done this before, but I gotta see it first to know if
that's how it is.
Sometimes you just have to see it on the screen, on the paper, wherever you're working. Sometimes you just have to see it first to really make sure it's working.
You really do. I mean, I love experimenting. Like you could have a great plan, but then like some of the best stuff comes out of just like accidents, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely. Like, the happy accidents are very important in artwork, people.
It really is.
Gotta have happy accidents. And with digital, it's harder. It's harder to do with digital sometimes.
It is because
you have all that control, and you can just kind of be like, oh, you can kind of constantly go back and undo. So there is an importance to keep an energy going and a little bit of playfulness, and that is nice. So it's like, okay, well, this will be my accident layer.
Yeah.
This will be my, I'm just gonna go hog wild and see what I can get out of this.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally feel that. And just for people like that didn't hear yesterday, like I chose a limited color palette just because I feel like it creates a stronger composition. Honestly, if you could limit colors down to like 3 colors, like that's even better sometimes. I have just like tints and shades, like of like this row, basically. Like this is like, I think the original row of colors. So I kept it to 3, and it should be pretty sufficient. Like I think it'll give it enough contrast and everything. I'm trying to figure out where, okay, here we go. And see, this is that issue. Like some of that might come over, but that's okay. That actually looks pretty cool. Let's get some of that yellow. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So I was using salt and pepper on your dinner for the metaphor of the texture. I'm trying to figure out what would be another equivalent to something as soft and airbrushy like this. I don't know.
That's the baby powder. That's the baby powder.
Baby powder, yeah. And that's the neck.
The baby powder, yep.
Yeah. Especially before a hot day or something. Or hot date, maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's gonna be real hot near that sun. Put some baby powder on the nether regions.
You said it. I was almost gonna say it. That's funny. That's great. I don't know if you noticed, Chris, I'm wearing my Monsters Inc. Shirt today. Yeah, nice, yesterday nice. We discovered we both have a common interest in Disney. Like you got your annual pass now. I'm itching to get it back, or I guess it's your magic key now.
It's like a magic key. Something actually, it's not. They did a good job. I thought it was gonna cost more and give you less, but it's pretty much same thing, and they give you more dates. So could have been worse knowing Disney. Yeah, could have been worse knowing how Disney operates. It's like,
gosh, yeah. You never know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I grew up loving Disney. Obviously, it's hard not to, especially all those films growing up. But I went to a show at the LACMA. Gosh, I think it was in 2016 where Guillermo del Toro was doing his private collection.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it was amazing. But they had, and I'm blanking on her name right now. She was the background painter for Sleeping Beauty or no, sorry, it's not I think it's a male. I can't remember.
It's a guy.
Look it up now. It's a guy, right? But a really interesting name. Yeah.
I'll
look it up.
yeah, if someone could look him up in the chat, like, yeah, that I was gonna say, I went to the same show. I know
Oh, you did?
exactly what you're talking about. He
I
had a
think it's
bunch of horror.
Ivan Earl or Even Earl.
Yes, for anyone that's
Eyvind.
looking for inspiration, definitely study that guy. He's a big influence on my work. It may not trickle in everywhere, but his stuff is amazing. It's just conceptual work.
That's who I thought of when you had
whole.
mentioned kind of that Disney Renaissance stuff. And I was like, this is the guy I remember. And seen those paintings in real life. So you went to that show?
I did. It was so cool, man. All the horror
Oh
stuff
my God,
they had.
It was amazing. Oh,
we went as a school.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah, I had just went with my wife, and I'm such a huge Guillermo del Toro fan. It was just cool to see so much art there, not only from his movies, but just stuff that's inspired him over the years, and to kind of see some of those Easter eggs or things you weren't even expecting to see there, like these paintings.
Oh my gosh, right?
Seeing them in person, you're just like, oh, they're even better in person. They're so beautiful. So much craftsmanship, man. And just, color choice is just spot on and it's unreal.
Right. Color theory, another Disney legend, Mary Blair, her color theory is like unchallenged. Like she's most people might know her work on It's a Small World and Alice in Wonderland, and the list goes on and on, but she's a Disney vet, legend, all the above.
Yeah, that's somebody you could say
she's
that
another one.
Doesn't have a limited color palette, but just crush it. Like, really does stretch the palette, but it finds a way to make it all work and be harmonious. I mean, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's preference, right? Like, I think, like I choose to make a limited color palette, or, like that's the way I do it. But I mean, if you can at least have a color harmony, I think you'll be okay. Like I think you just got to have like compliments. It just got to make sense, right? Like, okay, so I feel like maybe that might be, thanks, Kyle. Like I do like that sun highlight, but I feel like on the bottom it's kind of like losing some of that contrast. So I'm gonna try and just do a color overlay and just hit it with white. And not that white, but like this lighter one. Oh, got some staggery. It's kind of staggery right there. I just want to see if it might look better. I'm kind of undecided right now, like on where to go with that one. Maybe it's a little hot. Yeah, I might have to revisit this a little bit later because I'm not.
Yeah, because you want to find it. You want it to kind of pop away from that sun. Even though it would technically be that same kind of highlight, you could almost explore it as a different color. Maybe it's like,
I'm thinking you're right. Like, I think maybe we have like some extraterrestrial kind of like glow going on over here.
Yeah, completely. Like a second, it's like you've got the hot highlight, and then you could have like a cool bounce light or rim light on the other. Yeah, I think that could maybe pop it a little bit more. Because that's gonna,
maybe it's just the same as the whole, but like the rocket's body. But I'm so undecided right now, guys. You might have to chime in and tell me what you like best. But I think right now I'm gonna just leave it at that. Because I personally, if it was like a purple, I would go with like green. Like I would like, and just
right.
Like hit it with like some crazy like that. That's my style. I usually get down with, but
I like
it. But it's kind of like it's kind of foreign now to the whole piece, right? So
right.
I'm gonna try and really restrict myself. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it at that purple at the moment.
Okay.
I'll probably switch that again later, guys. Like I just don't want to waste too much time being like back and forth. But one thing I did want to show you, one very helpful thing to do, instead of having to like, okay, so we have this stripe here on the nose, and instead of like having to like repeat that same process with the texture, let's see real quick where that is, the nose. I know
Wade's chiming in with could be a cool blue, which you could pull it off of that purple. Yeah, I mean you could kind of sneak your way over into a blue.
I'm not mad at that. No stripes, here we are. Okay.
Well, and also that would be the high contrast against the orange sun, and could really pop it
yeah,
out.
that unit definitely complements the purple. Yeah. Okay, so since we're here, let's just dig in, because like always forward, never backwards. Like at least try. Let's see
definitely.
here. Let's get a blue. It's subtle, but like let me bring it up a little bit. Yeah. Shout out to whoever commented on that.
It's Wade.
I like that.
It's Wade, our boy.
Is that Wade?
He's helping us out in the chat today. Yes.
Wade is crushing it. Man, I need to connect with Wade outside of this, give him his flowers. Thank you so much. I definitely would not be able to manage both things. Yeah, I'm gonna just rock with that for a second. I do. Yeah, like
that looks good.
That
because it's not pulling away from that purple, from your color scheme right now. So that's
not at all. And it's a nice compliment from like cool to warm. So the depths of space is cold, right? So
yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that cool blue highlight, and that will probably trickle into other stuff later on. I'm gonna leave that color overlay intact because I may want to copy that. And then, okay, so what I was saying earlier, if I Command J, take that layer, and I'm gonna bring it above the nose stripes I had here, and see now it's over here. So instead of having to do double the work, and try and redo that texture, but you want that selection, like to be able to separate it from the other one, because obviously I could do an overlay, but overlays, like when you get into these like different multiplies and all these different blend modes, you get like different results that may not be consistent. Like say your colors might look a little different than the ones you set out to use. So right. I always like to make sure I have everything separated, including like things that overlap like this. So in this instance, I want that to be kind of like light pink, right? Even though you have the light pink here, it just needs some of that little gradual gradient here. So what I do is it's kind
of being covered up there, so you still want it to show through.
Yeah, so I took that layer, reused it, made a mask out of it, and then we'll go into the color overlay and then take one of my softer pinks here, and then that gives that same like consistent gradient, but now there's some contrast to it, and I'm really digging the way that looks.
Yeah, much better. Yeah, it doesn't disappear on us. Not
at all.
Really makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm going to apply that layer mask so it just keeps the file size down. Let's see. Okay, I think we're rocking that. That's starting to take shape there. I was undecided on whether or not these were like bulbs, like kind of like blinky lights, or like they were, I didn't have time to like illustrate the body. So I've kind of kept it like very dark within, and I'll probably need to like dissipate some of this helmet so it looks a little more gradual, but maybe later on, like I might add some like we talked about it, like little tech buttons, doohickeys,
knobs and doohickeys.
Yeah, like that's what I would do ideally, to get into the details. But for
buttons.
Yeah, for the sake of time, like I'm limiting those details. So I'm trying to, I think I'll make these, because if you look over here, I got the nose stripes, close that main hole. I got these little mini windows. I added these little window edges, and
to kind of push it in a little bit.
Push it in. So if they're windows, that's cool. But since there's no glow within this cockpit, it's probably better off that I either leave those dark and just hit it with like a nice lavender highlight on the edge, or I would just make them like, like blinky lights. And I feel like that'll be like more of a wow factor if I make these more like bulb like,
Yeah, no, I'm totally into that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like blinky lights. That's
blinky, the blinkies.
Just in case you come across somebody else in the vastness of space, they need to see you.
I mean,
yeah, they can't hear you, so they got to be able to see you.
Yeah, hopefully they can see that like insane blast behind him, but you never know.
You never know. the giant. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's add a little. And this one, we're just gonna do like one here. Just a little something, nothing too crazy. And then maybe this is one I'm definitely going to experiment on here because I'm not sure how I really want it to look. and then go with a darker. Let's see what I got for the darker. Maybe let's go really dark with it. Just see how it goes.
And can you just mention again how you got those other tints and shades? I think it's a cool thing for people to know about.
Yeah,
color guide.
And I'm not really digging that, but let me just undo that. So yeah, if you're in Illustrator, like just to show you real quick, I had like, let's say, you know, those three, well, geez, I had these three right here initially. Like that's where I started. I just found those colors, and I was like, these are nice. And then I went in, I made vector shapes, those fills, and then I came over here, and I used this color guide, which is, you know, if you go to window, color guide, you can go in here, and basically I was very particular on what I chose. You know, obviously you could go the whole gamut here, but what I did is I went every other. So it kind of like, there was drastic contrast between one color to the next. And some of them, you know, if you don't like them, that's okay. Like I actually was using like the pink one, and, or no, was it pink? It was yellow. And you'll know, like yellow has like a real dirty shadow, like it looks like, almost looks kind of brownish or olive-ish, you know, and I wasn't totally into that. Like the sun doesn't kind of have that gradual change, it's more of an orange.
Right.
So I went in and I made my own specific ones. I just kind of pushed the orange a little further and further. So this is a good reference point you can start with, but definitely try and make it your own. The purples are the same, because purple gets dark real fast, and you'll notice in print, obviously, it like they all look consistently the same. Purple prints it difficultly, which is a bummer because it's like one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to exit out of here again. I think that's the gist.
But yeah, that's just a cool little thing with the color guide. Just kind of give you a starting point, and
yeah,
it's a good little thing for people to know.
Totally. So I wasn't feeling the shadows on that one. I'm just doing a little highlight, and I usually what I do is like I'll add something and then I'll return to it later, because you know, like as you see everything evolve, you'll notice something else is lacking. Obviously, we got to do the wing, the thruster. So one thing back here, I'm noticing, like I always like to add like some of that glow from the blast, you know, like on the tail area. So like this area, although like some of that yellow's peeking in over here, we want some of this to glow onto the actual spaceship. Like probably less of it here because it's kind of got that, like it just, the way the thruster is
how
like
it's coming in, and so
yeah,
the light is going to bounce over it. Yeah,
exactly. So we'll add some of those pinks here. I started as like kind of a reference here. So we'll just leave those bulbs for now. I'm still thinking in my mind like how I want to treat those. So instead of like getting bogged down, well, you know, you guys can't really see what I'm thinking, so you know, it's better to keep going. But I'm gonna go back to actually no, we'll start with this since the wing has nothing on it. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that and hard highlight because everything's kind of gradual and soft, and I'm trying to think if I want to bring some of that dustiness back in. I think I kind of do, like give it like, you know, some separation from the hard metal, you know,
the whole
yeah, just to mix it up. Okay, so this is going to be the blast. Oh God, yeah, I don't type what I think. Highlight. Okay, cool. All right, and then let's get back to that. Shout out to Retro Supply. Use that one. And then,
man, brush. It's all about the brushes, baby.
I love brushes. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's not going to make you an amazing artist, but it sure helps in certain situations.
It sure does, man. It really helps. Like if you don't want to use like those traditional gradients and you just want to kind of like give it, you know, like I feel like it just really prints nicely because like,
oh yeah, I mean, it adds a huge amount to your work. I mean, it really, like you said, these are like the finishing touches that make it have the feeling that you're trying to go after. It's like without those brushes, it's like you could find a way to get there, but it would take a lot longer, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah
totally.
Yeah, just My gosh, yeah. And some people would get down. That's their whole like career style,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm like, salute. You know, I don't have the
Yeah.
patience for that. Like I like, especially now with my son, like in his naps being short-lived. I'm like, okay, how much can I get done real quick? You know.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's funny how much like, yeah, everything is like I said, I have 2 kids and everything's kind of built around them. It's like, okay, how long are they at school? How long are their naps? Like, what time do they go to
my
bed?
gosh.
And then you're just planning your day and your work. You're like, okay, I've got this much time here, this much time there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And we have a little pack and play. And I almost kept it on screen just because it's hilarious, because we added a bunch of balls to it. So it's like a ball pit now. And like, because I was like, oh man, I love the ball pits at like McDonald's as a kid. You know, like how cool would it be if he had one? And he's psyched. But now all he does is he takes the balls, drops them off one at a time.
Yep.
So I find these balls everywhere now. And like I'm tripping over them and stuff. So I'm like, maybe this is a terrible idea. Like I'm always like, what did I love doing as a kid? And I try and transfer that, like instilling
like,
these.
Oh, that's why my parents just lost their minds after a while.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was a well-behaved kid. Oh man. So the yellow it's not hitting as hard as I thought. I think I'm gonna go with like maybe a pure white. Let me see. Is that the lightest pink we're using right now? I think it is. Gosh, sorry about that. The staggeredness. Here, let me stop. There you go. Sheesh. Okay. Yeah, and you know, it could be because the file is so big. Let me actually look at what we're working with right here, just to give you guys an idea. So yeah, I mean, inches wise, this is 41 inches. So I don't recommend this for everyone. I've got a bang-in computer that's like super fast. So like, you know, usually it's not too bad, but I think that's probably a big part of why I do this all the time, because I like to print posters. I like to use them for other things, and I don't want to have to like scale it up afterwards.
No,
and
of course
not. you know, so like you'll lose quality, you know, and I can always go down from here. So that's, you know, if you have a computer that's a little slower, that's okay to export it at a smaller size, especially if it's intended for web or something. No big deal. Things will run a lot smoother. I just wanted to give people like an idea of what's going on there. How do you feel about the contrast with the dust against the metal? Do you think we should have gone with like the full airbrush look? What do you think?
Are you talking about on the fin? The little,
yeah.
I mean, I think it works. I'm okay with it. I mean, I think you could go either way, honestly. If you want it to have the same material vibe, you know, then you keep it airbrush. But
I know
it could be a different. It could be a different part. It could be different stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna just check it
try
out.
The airbrush. Yeah, try the airbrush. Oh, and a quick question from Emma. She was saying that she just became a grandmother for the second time. Congratulations!
Oh, congrats! Yeah, that's awesome.
But I think her question, she's just like, how can I get this baby astronaut from you? And I think that also leads into, do you do any commission work, or is that something that you're open to?
I do commission work, but it has to be like a lot of people want stuff like now, and like I'm so booked out right now. Like it's
totally.
So, you know, so like it just has to be like, people have to be patient, and if you can work with me like on like far out, you know, start dates, like I'm down. I'm slowing down though. I am slowing down on some of the commissions for like, because freelance is taking away from my quality time with my son. So I have to prioritize, I think, in the new year. This year was all about that hustle, like me being afraid not that I wouldn't be able to provide for my son. And then it ended up overshooting. Like I ended up having too much work, you know? So now I'm trying to like wrangle it back in. But so I do commission work, and it just depends on the project. And if, you know, like if there's somebody out there that needs some work, I have like obviously Chris is here. He probably, you know, you might take some freelance too, you know, or I have friends like, you know, there's probably, I know a lot of people in this comment thread that are hungry. So let me know and I'll hook you up with some good people. I can connect you with some great talent.
Do you have a print shop or anything where people can buy prints from you, or do you do that?
I do have, I have a shop. I don't have everything available. Like I do pins, I have a font, I have a notebook, stickers, pennant, all these goodies here. So I do have some posters. Like this is probably my favorite poster. It printed really nicely. I wish I could show you. It's in the other room. And then I do some other ones just for fun, but I will be getting in. I think these are probably the 2 posters I'd recommend most, like the Sade one. Sade is a big influence of mine. We haven't really talked about like, inspirations, but Sade is like one of my go-tos when I'm not live streaming and I'm just like vibing out. Right on. Yeah. And then, so I do commissions and I do have stuff for sale. This particular one, I'm actually going to have to decline this one, like the ones for my son. I'm kind of like, I'm keeping that close to home.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's personal work. Right.
Yeah. And I just want that to be his, which is probably why I'm going to add his name later. Cause it kind of gives that like little stamp, like completely. not every baby can be Orion, so okay, let's see.
Just real quick, if you guys are on YouTube watching this, welcome, hello. Please come on over to behance.net/Adobe Live so you guys can ask your questions directly to Jarod in the chat over here. And also, we're about an hour in, so in the next 30 minutes, we're going to hop on over to our artist spotlight today. So if you guys want to be nominated, if you want to nominate yourself, go in the chat at the top. There's a tab, Artist Spotlight. Click on it, fill out the form, and hopefully one of you guys or your friends can be on the Artist Spotlight on Adobe Live. So stick around in the next 30 minutes. We'll do that. So Jarod, just so you know, you got about 30 minutes until we're going to do about 5-10 minute break. And then we're going to have about 15 minutes after that to kind of finish stuff up. So,
okay, cool. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is going to get completely finished in this run because the textures do take a while, but at least can give you like the techniques, like show you like the goodies. Yeah. Let me think about other things that might be helpful. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay.
Okay. I'll take your freelance work, Wade. So send it my way, buddy.
Okay. So, yeah. I know it is what it is, right? Like
sometimes you got time, sometimes you don't. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, just taking a second here to re-strategize because I'm realizing time is running thin here.
Yeah, so what could be some fun spots to work on, or
I want to show you. So like the stars, I actually have these separated on 2 layers, and the reason for that, I'm going to leave those ones intact, and these ones will be my blurred ones. Here, Command G to group, and we'll just say blurred stars, and this way I can do like a motion blur. And not like have like the whole thing blur upward, because I want it to be like very like pinstriped, like kind of like shine, if that makes sense. That's kind of a hard description, but yeah, like so. Let's see, this one is the vertical. So yeah, go into like filter, go into blur, motion blur, and then make sure that's 90 degrees because it's a vertical one. And then let's just pump this all the way up and get really, like get it in there. Like maybe 800 is a nice number. And then we'll do the same for the other one. But obviously we'll do 0 degrees. Bam, okay. And then I always, even though it's been blurred, I like to just go in and add another little like, we'll take the brush tool and maybe we'll keep it dusty. Let's keep it dusty here because now we're in the space vibes here. Okay.
Space dust.
Yeah, space dust, exactly.
Space dust brush.
I like that. I'm gonna have to make that somehow. Make that brush.
Yeah, that's something you can make your own brushes. That's the beauty of Photoshop. Is you take the time, you can make your own brush. So it's easy to do, hard to master, I think, is the Photoshop brush.
I'm gonna have to make a couple before I try and sell them, but I definitely plan to do that down the road. Let's see. And then I feel like I'm gonna apply that. I'm gonna apply that filter one more time. Yeah, see, now it's trailing off. It doesn't look as thick on the inner. And I'm gonna do the same thing, do this one, just some more trial and error. Just don't like how thick it was right there. And then bam, 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 bam. Again, sound effects not included in Photoshop.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew. Okay, and then blur that one more time, and we should be set. Oh,
and we're saving it, right? We've already saved, right?
Oh, totally. Totally, yeah.
Yeah. We've been saving this whole time.
Let me do this 90 degrees and just do it again. Psych. Yeah. Now it's been saved. Only the second time.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, guys. When you're under pressure, you forget things. I definitely, it's funny, we had one working file for Illustrator after that session, and then afterwards I had once I left that to cleaning things up, I had 5 more. So it's things went back into its normal steady groove afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think
someone was asking if you could you zoom in on one of those stars just so we could kind of see that stardust texture. It is a little hard to see from far back.
Honestly, we lost a lot of the texture, so I'm going to bring it back in. Just add it to the whole thing. Cool. And you know what it needs to happen? We need to do one more, hit that one more time. And then I'm going to combine these. If you just, there we go. Merge layers. And then that way it's a little better. Now I can add some of that dust here. It's super hard to see, I get that. And honestly, that's kind of just the way my work is. Most of the time I shared stuff on Instagram. A lot of those beautiful details I love to obsess over get lost. So
right.
it is nice to zoom in and show people what I'm doing. This is a typical thing. And then let's see, I feel like those stars are just too harsh. So I'm going to actually convert it to a smart object in case I want to keep it. I can delete that later. And then I'm going to add a Gaussian blur and just, this is the issue here. Let's combine. I'm going to Command Z, do this one more time, Command J. These ones are out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to merge these two now that I have control over that motion blur. And then now that I have that, I don't mind just blurring it without having to make it okay, cool. So let's bring it down a little bit. It's just a little too much. Bring it up a little bit. Nice. Feeling that'll work. And then I am going to bring these back one more time. I do a lot of treatment to the stars, and sometimes it's even crazier, but I'm actually going to combine these now. Well, no. Don't combine them. Command J, do it one more time. And then I'm going to merge
Command
these.
J is duplicate layers, people, just so we know.
And then merge layers. Okay. So we're going to call this inner star. And then this is just a regular G blur, Gaussian blur. And then these guys will stay away. So we're good on those. And then I'm going to bring these up. And then the reason I did that is because I need to actually create a selection of it, and then another Command J, so I can bump that up. I'm gonna do it one more time. Command J, and I'll probably have to rename these again. I was probably premature when I did it earlier, but now I have these. So now I can grab those each individually, because what I need to do is I need to shrink them down a little bit. They're a little too big now. So now that I have control, let's see, there we go. So now Command T for transform, and then take that and hold Option so it shrinks proportionally. And then that way it'll look a little better. And I feel like we need to give it some contrast now. So what I'm going to do is hit the color and maybe just take some of this purple, but I want to just make sure it's, let's get that whatever the color in here. There it is. Just a little bit. That looks good. Very subtle. And I'm going to take that one copy that layer style, apply it to the other one. Let me get to find it here. There we go. Paste layer style, and then shrink it, of course. Okay, and I'm liking the vibe. Like, there's definitely some nice glow there. I can take it further, but I've literally drawn every type of star possible, and one of these days I'm actually gonna like release like a star chart. You heard it here first, so don't copy me. That'd be so good. But, like
trademark, Jarod Octon.
It came here first. I know somebody's gonna show up, but I want to show like every type of star possible.
That's like cool, man.
Like a chart, like a periodic table kind of like, but like stars. Chart. Yeah. So because I have so many over the years, I switch them up all the time just because I can't.
That could be a really cool print if done right. That could be pretty cool.
I think so. Yeah. It's just finding the time. That's always what it is.
There's no time. Nope.
No.
It's just, you just don't sleep. That's the time that you find.
So since I have that though, no, I'm not gonna use that. Okay, moving on. We gotta keep it pushing. So yeah, so now I want to do what we need is like some cosmic dust, some textures and stuff, right? Like, it's just seeming a little too flat for outer space in my opinion, even though we just need some like solar flares or something like, and I think we'll do it here. And I'm just gonna go in with the cosmic textures. Hope everyone's enjoying this. Thank you for everybody showing up. Let me see if there's anybody new.
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank
Myles,
you everybody that's participating in the chat.
Yeah, I love y'all.
Can't have
really
the show without
the support.
Yeah, if nobody's watching.
Oh my gosh, right?
Very fun. Yeah. So it's always great having everybody come in, and especially all the regulars that are in here. Ferry, nice to see you, and Robert and a lot of you other guys. It's awesome. Bliss, nice to see you. This is what makes it fun, is that everybody's participating, getting to see the artist work live. So
heck yeah,
definitely. And if you're on YouTube, come on over to behance.net/Adobe Live so you guys can hang out in the chat with us. Ask Jarod some last minute questions if you got them. We've got about a little less than 20 minutes until the artist spotlight. So come on over, hang out with us.
I'm just gonna.
It's a space party.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna freestyle this as best as possible. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this. I just want to like just add a little bit of it. Like, I think that's too harsh right now. Like, let's just add like just a subtle. So that okay, yeah, there we go. Just to get some texture, like we talked about, like art school a couple times, like, right, like you always want to, even if it's like all white, all black, in those areas, you just want to add some like variation, like even if it's like a little gray or something. And even though this is like the almost same color, that texture will just kind of set it apart in some ways.
You got to give the whole thing love. Every corner's got to get a little bit of love. You don't want to abandon any part of your design or painting.
Like just a little affection to everything.
And it's funny because you don't, a lot of people don't really see that, but
no,
it's when you dig deeper, or if another artist sees it, or hiring, manager, recruiter stuff, they look for stuff like that and they see it, and you can see it adds to the just like the fidelity of the work. It gives it a little more depth, and especially if you print, sometimes those little things can make a print that much better,
right?
If it shows up.
Without a doubt.
If that printer is a good printer,
it's got to be a
those
good
little
printer.
things, really make the piece shine.
Let's I'm gonna load like these blurred stars. I'm gonna drop them below that one. Yeah, see, now it's kind of having like a nice gradual. Yeah, and these are the things I want people to see. Like, I really take pride in every single project I do, and and that goes from my clients to my personal work, and like I always show these details in my portfolio because I want them to know what to expect, like because I you're only as good as your latest work, right? And it's just like,
right.
I want that to reflect. But Okay, cool. So they've got some crazy glows on those. Like I might have to bring those down a little bit, but did I? Oh, I sure did. I added to the, here's another instance. Remember what layer you're on. I got to go back a little bit. Tartar sauce. Okay. Back on the correct layer. Honestly though, it left me at a good point. I don't think I probably was better off with less. I'm gonna actually go in and take away some of that real quick, because although I could speed through all this stuff and get it done probably within the hour, I'd rather get it looking proper, and show you guys something stellar, say on my Behance or Instagram later this week.
Definitely.
If I don't share it this week, for sure next week, because I'm going to be all over the place in the next coming days. Okay, we're good. Let's apply that. Boom, boom, boom. Now we need some color variation, right? So like, I feel like some of that blue needs to show through, and just trying to think how I want to do it. Normally I do like some streaks, like shooting out or something, but I'm going to use this brush just to get it in. Cosmic textures, we're going to go up from there. And then this is the star textures. Okay, then let's see.
If you guys are just joining us, we are with Jarod Octon. We are working on a birthday celebration for his son Orion, his first trip around the sun. So getting into the textures in Photoshop, pretty exciting stuff. Don't forget to watch day one, where you guys can see all the blueprint work and the fun, boring stuff. It's the stuff you got to know. It's the stuff you got to do. And it's, we see the sketch kind of come to life and vectorized, and then, yep, there it is. She's a beauty. And then brought into Photoshop, where all the nice finishing touches. And again, Jarod, if you can't finish this thing at the end of this time, please don't feel like you got to rush through things. If you really want to add some special touches to this, feel free to finish this up afterwards. We want the best from you. It wouldn't be the first time that somebody didn't finish at the end of day 2. I don't know if I've ever finished.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, it's I can only, I do these 15-hour paintings and try to squeeze into.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
it's brutal.
So don't this looks amazing already, and just the amount of texture work you've done, and it looks great. So please don't feel stressed or rushed.
Awesome.
Keep doing your thing.
I appreciate that. Texture, the dots, check texture. Yeah, we'll just get as much done as we can. Let's see. So I think I'm feeling good about let's say blue glow, like kind of a lavender, more lavender, but that's okay. And then drop that down. Okay, I think we've given some space vibes here. I think we need a glow from the sun, like a little bit more. Let's see. And that's probably going to trump everything. So I'll put that top here and give it that. And I think I could probably use the same yellow and just give it a little. And we're going to make it real messy. Yeah, you make it messy and then clean up what you don't like after. That's okay. And then I don't like to do the long streaks because it creates these, well, actually, I look pretty right there, actually.
Okay, it worked.
Yeah, it worked that time. Sometimes they create these kind of too hard of an edge, kind of, and I like things to dissipate. This is gonna get a little crazy here, but I just want to get some of that solar power, and everything can be refined and kind of drawn back a little bit as we go. But the sun, it's crazy. It's just a wild beast, it's full of fire, and just it should be this cosmic force, just
God, I saw something on Reddit where they had a video of a recent solar flare, and it was the size of it was 3 times the size of Earth, just the solar flare itself. You're just holy cow.
That is insane. Yeah. Okay, I want to add some white to give it just a little bit of contrast here, and maybe I do that on the sun portion Let's go up here. Now, forgive me guys, I'm slowing down on the naming conventions. I want to, like, instead of waste time on that, I want to get all this goodness, you know, all the textures. You guys care about how it looks and how I do it probably more than how I name it. So I'm just going to leave some things unnamed. Here we go.
On some of these more complex pieces, how many layers do you think you go? How deep do
oh
you
my
go
gosh.
You're like,
you know, I'll tell you, I actually, just to go, let me shop here. Let me get, if I go one real quick, I think I may actually say on one of these, like, this is the beast right here. And let me see if, did I say it? Time lapse. Darn it. I think it's on my Instagram. Head over to my Instagram at some point, and if you look for that post, I think I actually tell you exactly how many layers were included on that, and it could be upward of like 500 sometimes. Just, yeah, it's insane. But a big part of that layer creation is what makes the large number of layers, because there's so many little details, and I need to have control of every little element if I'm going to add a highlight or cast shadow. So that's a big part of it. Man, I'm loving this sun vibe. It's just now I lost a lot of stuff now, so I got to bring it back in. So there is that. And I wonder if I did do a blend mode, how that might, oh no, I'm on the wrong one. Go right here. See, this is the problem. Okay. Hard light. We got to name it. I'm going to just, looking for this stuff later. And then that must not, okay. There we go. Sun glow.
You tried to cut corners.
I did. Yeah. I was, for your guys' sake, I really wanted to show off more stuff. Man, that looks kind of nice, but again, it should be, I'm going to leave it be for the moment.
That is, I kind of like it.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just do a color fill, because I know it's kind of crazy, like, and then at least it's still in the same.
Ooh,
why not? Why not? Like, it's abstract, right, guys? Like,
yeah, it's you gotta, you know, that's, I always remind myself that it's like, yes, there's rules, and you know, with lighting and everything, but if it looks good, it looks good. Don't let the rules take away from what works. So that works. I think that's beautiful.
Okay, cool.
And it doesn't get too busy in the back, because if it's too bright, it's gonna really it's almost too much.
I feel that. Yeah,
it creates that nice contrast.
I did like the chaos of the sun, but you know what? Like, this is abstract. This is art. You can do whatever you want. Remember that. Just because you know, like, something looks like this in real life, you know, you can always like bend the rules. And I think that's what makes things more interesting and engaging and just bold sometimes. Okay, see, now we're about the dots back in. It's looking a little more starry. Okay, that's looking sweet. Yeah, I'm actually going to take that out for a second. Okay, that's fine. All right, what layer is this even anything? Okay, there's nothing in that, so I'm just delete that so I know what I'm dealing with. We're looking gravy. Everything's named. Okay, cool. So where are we missing? What are we lacking right now? How much time do we got till the spotlight?
Got about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Well, and then I'll have time afterwards to pick things back up.
Yeah, well, depending. We usually do the spotlight for about 5-10 minutes. So that'll put us at around 11:10, and then we have about 15 minutes after that. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get into the thruster here. You guys get the idea of like how we were doing the gradients and stuff on the rocket. The same techniques are going to be applied to the helmet. We're going to dissipate these things so they're not so hard of an edge and stuff like that. It'll get darker. But right now, I want to do like the blast. Get back to where is the thruster? So yeah, it's right there. So I can do, okay, boom. I just want to add a little bit of that yellow. Just there. guess we could do more. No, it's too much. Probably make this a different color just so it doesn't blend too much. Let's do like a, actually that's kind of cool. Maybe just
Got that hot
move
fire.
it out the way. Yeah, just I didn't like how much of it was, so I'm gonna just take that out. And let's add some like, so basically the thruster edge. This one, I'm not sure exactly how I want to go about it. So this is definitely an instance where I'm kind of experimenting here.
Mm-hmm.
Not
and
sure
don't worry,
how
folks,
much.
the rocket ship and the helmet will get detailed at some point. That will probably have to be afterwards, but maybe we can get there.
It's a tedious game, right? Like it takes time.
Well, that helmet's gonna be, you're gonna gotta go in on that helmet for sure. That's not a quick.
I know, yeah.
Quick texture game.
But you know what? Are people asking about that? Is that what's going on?
Oh, so it was just like, oh, maybe you should do some detail. And I'm like, oh, it'll get done. It's if we got time, we can hop to it. But otherwise, that'll definitely. Glow.
Just so it looks crazy right now. Oh, wait. We're doing the airbrush technique here. There we go. So it looks crazy right now, but I think, oh, that's actually better.
That looks great.
Yeah, let's get that in because the fans demanded it. I want to deliver. Let's see. And then I'm gonna add some of this dark purple to like those areas. And I'll probably do it right above the main fill. Let's see. I gotta turn off a couple things here. Ear plate. Yeah, that's the ear plate. Get some of that. Okay, we want to lose some of that detail.
Yes.
You know, just like let it gradually. It's okay to hide some things. Like I know, like I spent all this time making that beautiful, you know, curvature and stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, like it'll look way cooler with the hard cast shadow. So you got that bright glow from the sun, just like heating up his visor. Ryan's just trying not to. I told Ryan, don't stare at the sun. You know, he's doing good right now. So
don't fly too close to the sun, boy.
Oh yeah, who was that? What Greek god was that?
Icarus.
Icarus, yes.
Icarus, yep, flew too close and his wings melted. I believe they were made out of wax.
Whew. Yeah.
If I'm remembering right, I don't know.
I think you nailed it actually. Yeah. Orion
Something
means
like that.
Hunter. So yeah, that's good. And then let's see. I'm actually gonna duplicate that one to see how well that I can utilize that by making it the same. Oh man, if I were to do a glow from within the cockpit, you know how it would look. Kind of like that's a vibe right there. I'm kind of bummed I didn't put the.
Well, you can always go back, man. I mean, like I said,
that's
like
true.
If that's what go wild if you want afterwards.
Right. So take the chin and then the lower left shapes. I'm gonna just designate that. Okay, so that came out a little too harsh. Maybe we want to drop that down just a teeny bit. I'm just gonna lower the opacity. Yeah, just darken it a little though. And then the same will apply to like this inner piece over here. So let me get the inner ear, outer ear. There we go. Go. And then obviously I got to mess with those a little bit, like a little dirty. Maybe I delete just until I'm ready to actually pay that one attention.
All right. I think I don't want to stop you here, but I think we're gonna switch over. Yeah, that's cool. We'll do a little bit after we get back. But let's do the artist spotlight. So and I believe you know the artist, correct?
Yeah,
Jarod?
Myles, are you in the chat right now? Say what's up to the crew. So I'm gonna pull up his website real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
And let's see, here we go. So Mendoza Creative. I've minimized that one. You've seen enough of me. And Myles Mendoza, Mendoza Creative is his studio. Great guy. He's a family man, friend of mine. He's an exceptional designer, illustrator. As you see on the screen, this is some of the work he's done. He's worked with some very infamous giants within the industry.
Yeah.
Carmen Sandiego, how cool is that? Like, that's a blast from my past growing up.
Yeah, very cool.
Nerf, Star Wars. He's a super Star Wars fan. Like, you know, like if you want to talk shop, like bring up Star Wars, and he will test your knowledge. And I love him for that. Yeah. So like I said, he actually just went full freelance as well. So shout out any art directors looking for freelancers. Like, my man's hungry. He wants that work. And yeah, let's take a look at some of the work. Yeah. So Myles worked at a studio prior to going full freelance. Shout out to Raul if you're in there. He's also a part of Hero Design, a studio he was part of for a good while. But he took that leap of faith, and he's been crushing it ever since. But you know, a lot of these projects you'll see were created during his time there. We'll get into some other stuff. But yeah, he does a lot of branding, packaging, you know, like tons of concepts. Like, this dude is a beast, you know, like, you know, when I'd talk to him sometimes and he'd be like, oh man, I'm on like iteration 20, you know, and like, yeah. And it'd be like a totally new concept. I mean, like, you can see probably like see all these different
let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of the work and maybe just kind of break down some of this work. Something that kind of pops out to you, or something that you really love from one of his projects.
Well, I mean, I love right here, for example, like this is one of his custom fonts. So in addition to freelance, he has his own shop, and but yeah, here's some of the sketches. And like, I mean, the dude is just like, I mean, this is just like an intense like overview of all the stuff he's done for Nerf. But you know, so that's just one project. But like I said, like, he's done fonts as well. So that font was in use on the other project. You can buy this from a shop. Like I said earlier in the stream, I don't know if if you weren't here in the beginning, he actually motivated me to create my own font, my font Orion. And you know, this is like, I think the first drop, right? I think that was the first one, Myles. You know, and you go in and he took like a ton of, like, he just went all out. Like, he's got different you know, uppercase, basic punctuation, like what I meant to say is he has lots of different weights and styles included. You can go in here, see, this is what I meant to say. Yeah. So like, you know, just super detail oriented. And that's one thing I appreciate about Myles. He's like, he respects the details you put into work. You know, he sees those little things. Like, he'll call you out, be like, dang, I didn't notice this until this. And I'm like, oh man, you looked at that, you saw that? Like, that's awesome, man. So yeah.
Well, especially as a designer, you kind of, you got to pay attention to the details. I mean, it really is all about those details.
And I mean, he executes in the same way. I mean, you can see all these awesome textures he applied to this helmet. I know that this was probably like a super awesome project for him to work on. Like, he was probably stoked to do this because he's such a big Star Wars fan. Like, you know, like, that's definitely probably, I'm sure he heads about to most often when he goes to Disneyland. Like, that's probably where he bolts to first. But yeah, here's some badges. Another thing that I really love about his work, he does awesome badges. He actually is hosting a badge challenge right now on Instagram in anticipation of the new Boba Fett show coming out on Disney Plus. If you head over to Logo Inspirations, it's like at Logo Inspirations. You can learn more, hit up his Instagram and participate. Like, it's a contest, and they're looking for the coolest badge designs with Boba Fett in mind. So that's cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Cool. Like, it's always fun to have these like Instagram contests and like challenges and stuff. I wish I could participate more, but like, I'm barely getting along as it is. Like, I'm like pulled on my thread. I'd be lucky to get out one post a month sometimes. But you know, when I drop, right? So let's see. So some other cool stuff. done some, like some of the clients. We'll just do an overview of the clients. He's done stuff for Discovery Channel, obviously Carmen Sandiego, Hasbro, Warner Brothers, Crayola, his Transformers. There's Jack Jack. My son actually looks just like Jack Jack. He's got the same mohawk. It's so funny. Yeah, so let's get into the logos and badges, because like I feel like the badges are like some of my favorite things from him.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
what do you like? What do you like about these badges? I mean, what stands out to you that kind of make these special?
You know, I have, okay, for instance, I always like to do badges, but I do get stuck in like that habit of like using the traditional circle, or like maybe just like that shape that's like very, you know, iconic, but gone to, like, he has a great talent for, you know, like finding unique shapes to like collect all this content. You know, like obviously this is like a classic badge, but he knows where to cut and form and like kind of like bring out the best with like the supporting content, whether it's typography or iconography, you know what I mean? Like that I love that Olympic one. That's really dope. And
what would you say the difference? Someone's wondering with the difference between a badge and a logo. What would be the defining difference? Or
I mean, there's probably people out there better at describing them, but personally, I feel like a logo is like real lean. It doesn't have a lot of like supporting elements. Like usually like a logo, it's like you either have your typography or your iconography. Like a badge has like everything, right? It's like a Boy Scout badge, right? It's like, it has all these different elements celebrating something. And in like this case, like you have like taglines, you have iconography, illustrations, and I feel like they bring maybe logos and illustrations together. It's like the best of both worlds with like typography and all these other elements. And like awesome. they shouldn't live as a logo on its own. That I think that's too much, right? Like a logo should just be like real simple. Like this could live as a logo, you know, like, and obviously there's plenty of logos in here. Like this is a nice logo, you know, this is a nice logo, you know, and you know, because you should be able to like take away, you know, and it should be left at its like most minimalistic, you know, like can it hold up as black and white and things of that nature. So I hope that answers the question.
Answer the question for me. So that's great. Do you want to go over one more thing and we can hop back over? What else is maybe a big project that stood out to you or was super dope that we should check out? Let's see. I mean, honestly, like
they all look dope. So, this one is probably the coolest thing as of late, and I'm glad I saved this for last because
I had a buddy that went to Chula Vista.
Oh, so it's nice. Okay, sweet. So he's a San Diego based designer, design dad as I call him, and his wife works for a local school, shout out to April, and basically he got the opportunity to contribute branding for like basically redo the mascot, the logo, everything. And I think that's like probably one of the coolest projects you could ever get, right? Like doing something for your community. And I feel like there's like a lot of like gratification on doing something local that's going to help and just boost morale. So he got completely. And so right here, he broke down the goal. You can come back to it later, but you know, just make something impactful.
You look good, you feel good. I mean,
you know,
especially as a school, things you got to wear on your uniforms, like walking in, you know, the big murals, like it's nice to have a dope logo, something that represents your school. It makes you feel better. I mean, this thing is really cool.
I mean, this is super cool. It's better. I mean, I went to Monte Vista. We were the Monarchs, but I don't recall the illustration looking anywhere as cool as something like this. Like this is fresh, modern. It's badass, you know?
This is great.
So they got to do apparel with it. There's different instances of like the Cobra, like, you know, like you got the 3/4 view and you got the different instances. You got merch. So salute to Myles. You're doing awesome work right now. Even
so
did a
cool to see your work.
Yeah,
this is great.
So shout out to Myles. Go give him a follow. I know he'll appreciate it. So should we get back into the illustration? Or?
Let's do it. Thanks, Myles Mendoza. Really cool work. And let's get back. We got a few more minutes, you know.
All right.
Let's see, it's 11:10. We got to start wrapping up around 11:20. We'll have about 5 minutes left, and so
all right,
let's rock and roll.
Here for it. Let's rock and roll. I like that. Rock and steady. Okay, we're on that helmet. I'm gonna give it some more love, just a little. Ooh, don't do that. And so my keyboard sometimes has a delay too, and I try and hit that mouse or the space bar, and it does it. My brain is working faster than the computer. So another instance where you might want to decrease the file size. But let's see, where are we gonna go with this? I feel like that purple needs to be a little darker in there, so just want to make sure that's where it is. Okay, cool. Get that selection going, got the brush back, and we are rocking. And let's get this. I want to see what that looks like if I just totally just dissipate it, like that corner just a little bit, right? Because like everything is so shadowy. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll just do one, bam, just one hit, or maybe two. There we go. And now I want to bring back some of this darkness I saw over here earlier. I feel like now, okay, we got those ones selected. Go above here, new layer. Gonna add some of that darker tone, and I'm gonna actually remember where I put it. Here we go. Take that away, just so I can see the original. That's darker than the original one. Never mind. So we'll just do a custom one here. Yeah, because this is darker than everything, so we want that to definitely be okay. Like basically all that should have got lost. I could have probably just put that layer above, but let's see. Okay, yeah,
nice.
Little mysteriousness, you know. Now that inner ear is looking
really
a little,
sits like he's sitting in that cockpit,
right? Yeah, like if I'm not gonna have that's the thing. If you're not gonna have like all the details, you gotta you kind of like say the body. Like I'm not gonna have the body, then you gotta take away from the helmet a little bit too. You can't just have like one thing just like super just like in your face. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out what layer I'm going to next. The ear, yeah, I honestly don't even need that. It'd probably look cool without it, but all right. And we're gonna go with like this darker, and then I'm gonna go right on the same layer just because for the sake of time it'll be okay. This isn't too crazy. Nice. And now I get that inner little ring there, and let's see, another new layer, and let's get rid of that a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, that's good enough for now. Like just to give guys a vibe. Let's bring in I don't want to lose that pink entirely. I'm trying to think if I want to blur those wavy lines. I feel like let's see, just see what it looks like if I blurred them. Yeah, so this is the sun glow.
Quick answer to Laxman. He was just asking, I don't see your son's name there. We talked about it earlier. It got removed to probably be added later on, but the smiley face was kind of a fun replacement to kind of, so everybody could relate to it. So it's not it's not labeled yet, but so that's where that went, just so you guys know.
Yeah, I'll probably add that back in later. I don't know. I like smiley faces. What can I say? Like, I just think it looks very kid friendly now. Like everything's like very, like, it's like almost like
text, you throw it in text. It's a whole nother thing too, right? Pick the font and lay it out. And
I didn't want to interfere with my anniversary any longer than I needed to. So smiley face was much faster.
Smiley face. Oh yeah, exactly.
I think my wife would appreciate that more, so we could have a little downtime. Okay, I'm losing track here, guys. Sorry. I think today overall though has been much smoother. I feel like I've been able to stay on track a little better. I just want to glow that up. So see this right here. Now you have this kind of like, we've lost some of this, like, the complete shape if I blur it that way. You know, in like hindsight, I may have wanted to extend this shape out a little bit rather than like cutting it at the time I did. I just wanted you guys to see what it looked like with that clipping. But this is an instance where I might go back to Illustrator, export it with a little excess, you know, and that way it covers all of it when I mask it. But in this instance,
you would basically go back into Illustrator and just export those layers, right?
Just so those layers.
The whole, yeah, exactly.
I will tell you, this is a good trick though. You should keep the bottommost, like whatever the widest and tallest shapes are in your file. Keep those though, because if you want this composition to stay the same and you just want it to like duplicate it onto this file, you're going to want to keep that composition the same. Otherwise, you're going to have to do some weird aligning. And I've noticed it doesn't always line up exactly the way you want it to. So like in this instance, it's
almost like registration marks, you know, if you're screen something, it's, you know, exactly where it's going to be placed.
And I think this concept sketch was the biggest image in the file, which basically created the width of this shape. So I would keep that and the shape, the new shape, and then everything else can go when you export.
Gotcha.
So that's huge. You'll realize how frustrating it is to get things back into place if it's not the same composition as you started with. Okay, cool. And I'm going to actually take that, mask that visor or the new glow, just to give it some, we got to give everything love, as we said before. Don't leave anything untreated. Man, yeah, we're not going to be able to do everything, but I think you guys are getting a vibe.
Pretty far so far. Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed how far we got.
Yeah, I am too. And I think one last thing I'll do is just for the blast, we're gonna add some dust, you know, because this is the fun. Like, just get that explosive, dusty vibe, you know. Like, yeah. Let's see. And right now we're gonna go with the yellow, and we'll refine it. Basically, if you can see them. You probably can't see my screen, but like we'll get this area. If I can go, here we go. We'll get all this deleted here and all of this deleted here. We wanted to just be kind of rounded out, like it's flying out of the thruster. But for now, we're just going to go crazy with it, have fun, throw paint on the walls, get busy. And yeah, and then we'll want to use a lighter one on top of that yellow. So we can get that, you know, little contrast on top of the yellow. So we'll go with like a lighter, let's see. Yeah, now it's coming back in. And maybe that first one is what we wanted more. That color we're using now, maybe that's what we wanted first. And now I'm gonna take both of these and bring it down the inner blast, because we're gonna do a different treatment for that. Like, we got a lot of the dust. But now what I want to do, I'm going to merge those layers, because it's okay to have them on the same layer on that one. And then I want to take away from some of this, so it looks a little more controlled, like what we were talking about just a second ago. And you want to bring the brush size down, and you might even, yeah, that looks good. Okay, just boom, boom. Just like think directional, like where is that headed? And then we'll take it off a little further.
And you're doing everything with a mouse, right?
I am doing everything with a mouse. I love my little, you know, click mouse. You know, that some people use a stylus. I have an iPad for drawing in Procreate, and that's where I do all the conceptual work. Sometimes I do stuff like this, but you know, I've noticed like you can't really export a big file with a lot of layers in Procreate. So I've kind of still just stuck with this program for my main textures. Okay, I'm gonna do one of these brushes to get in here and control it a little better, because it's kind of losing some of that. Just want to get in here. That's too much. Get rid of that. Okay, cool. Now let's get some pinks in there, just to give it some extra noise. And get the dusty back, the brush there. Okay, wrong color. Let's just gonna add color sample.
Nice.
And we'll go heavier with it right here. And I'm gonna what you want to do is you don't want to lose all the shapes, right? So like we're gonna do a lot of masking, a lot of like deleting, you know, like we're gonna like reveal these things again. But it's just like I need to get it all on the paper or screen, digital paper.
Right.
You know, just to see what it's looking like, and then oops, there we go. That right click. So just wants.
Jared, we got about a little less than 5 minutes left. So let's I say the next few minutes, let's find our way to a stopping point. And then if you want to just kind of do a quick overview of what we've done the last 2 days, and then we can wrap up. Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. This has been great. Let me just delete this so I don't forget about it when I come back in here. Looks like that one still had a little bit. Yeah. Oh, and definitely guys, please head over to like Instagram. My handle is @Octon Originals. Honestly, if you just look up Octon, Octon, no one else has that name but me and my family members. You'll find me with the crescent moon. Like that's the great thing. I've got a stranglehold on that handle.
Yeah, like domain names. That's fine.
Yeah,
nobody.
Don't get any ideas, people. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, put a hold on those. Like, yeah, can you babysit these for me? I'm trying to exploit something.
That's like super jerk status right there. So. Okay. But yeah, I will finish this and have it looking real proper for you guys to absorb. And,
awesome.
and if you guys have other questions, you can ask me in the comments when I post it and such. I've got some insane stuff coming your way, like beginning of next year, more space vibes for your eyes. You're going to love it. But
that's exciting.
Most importantly, save.
Yes, save it.
Always remember to save. And luckily I've done enough layers that I don't have to create a new file. So I think we did pretty decent for the amount of time, you know?
Yeah, I think we got pretty far. And so we started out with the sketch from Procreate. We imported into Photoshop.
Here's the sketch. Boom.
We got the sketch. Imported. And then we went over in Illustrator. We blocked out all our shapes, got everything ready. And then we exported that to Photoshop. And that's where we went and added all of those beautiful textures that we got here right now. And then, so in the next week or two, you'll have this all finished up for us and posted on your Behance and Instagram, and we can check it out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jared, I can't say how fun this was. It was so much fun, man. It was really nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Guys, Jarod Octon, it was day 2, wrapping it up here. If you guys just want to stick around, we've got the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Andrew Hochradel, immediately followed by Mobile App Design with Elsa. Thank you so much again, everyone, for joining us, chatting with us. And thanks again, Jarod. Hopefully we'll see you again soon, and we look forward to following your career and all of your awesome artwork.
Thank you so much for hosting and helping out. Wade, thanks so much for managing the comments. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I had a blast. Love y'all.
Awesome. Thanks guys. See you soon.
Yep.